Good morning to Morning Live viewers. This is Bottom Line and my name is Tepo Mwai. We do this every Monday morning. Most global stock markets ended the month of August on a sour note. The local bourse ended flat at 101,835 and this was partly attributed to a decline in banking stocks. Some of the individual stocks that saw significant movement to the down include First Rand and Nedbank. So basically, the euphoria that we saw last few weeks seems to be fading now. Let's delve into the JSE performance last week. We're starting with the All Share Index. We saw it close higher, adding 0.9%. Tuesday it shaved off 0.7%, while Wednesday we saw the local market retreat 0.42%. On Thursday it shed 0.25%. Friday it was flat. The local market also took its cue from Wall Street, which experienced a week of mixed performance. The plan to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook by US President Donald Trump has had a significant impact on the financial markets. The US inflation number, the so-called Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index, came in line with expectations. Let's take a look at that currency market and the local unit. Of course, its reaction to the US data last week was relatively muted, but the currency is expected to gain support from a weaker US dollar and investors seeking high-yielding assets. The local unit kicked off the week at 17 Rand 54 to the greenback. It finished weaker at 17 Rand 71. And of course, gold has been an interesting one to watch. We saw the yellow metal continue to gain. It jumped around 1% on Friday as US inflation data reinforced expectation that the Fed can cut rates this month. On the corporate news this week, of course, we will have supermarket retailer Shoprite release its full-year financial results for the year ended June. So the share price will come under the spotlight. It closed 0.5% in the red on Friday at 262.93 Rand. According to the company's latest trading update, it expects to grow market share in South Africa with sales up 9.5%. Headline earnings per share is set to increase by more than 20%. For now, we turn our focus on trading, and today we are joined by Spumelele Mashiane. He's a trader. Spumelele, we've seen last week the sports company Fendwell announced a partnership with CME Group to allow the public to bet on the potential outcome of the markets. This means that betting is actually now allowed in the financial markets. We know how popular sports betting is. What do you make of this?
Okay, and I thank you for having me today. Yeah? So basically, for every random South African out there, what is happening is we have a huge company like FanDuel, which is partnering with the CME. So in South African terms, we'll say Hollywood Bets partnering with JSE to actually bring in an easier way for people to trade, like a yes or no, basically type of thing, where you could just say, yes, I think gold is going up today. You bet $1. If it goes up, then you make money. So it'll be accessible through their betting platform, so that it's easier for your typical human being to just enter into the markets.
We've always heard that stock markets is not betting, it's different from betting. But what we are seeing this being introduced in the US is trading at the simplest way, where you either, bet on whether the gold price will be $4,000 an ounce in the next 2 days, and you simply say yes or no.
Yes, it's basically gamifying this whole thing, because let's be honest, the random human being just doesn't understand all these charts, all these platforms and stuff. So for them, it's like, I just want to be able to bet if maybe the rand to the dollar is going to go up or down, and this is basically going to make it accessible for them to be able to do this, So basically what I think, it's a good thing, because at least now the typical human being can be able to understand what we do, but it's a little bit gamified, so I feel like it's a good step to start.
We know that we have challenges when it comes to forex scams, the sale of signatures and signals. Do you think this will address all those challenges that the FSC is always dealing with if eventually it's approved here in South Africa? Because you don't have to learn the charts, you don't have to understand the spreads. you just bet on whether certain outcome or economic data will be up or down.
Yes, I think that's what they're sorting out with the CFTC right now, is that where will this fall under? Will it be under? Should we regulate it under casinos, or should we regulate it under financial instruments? So it's very tricky, because at the end of the day, that's what they need to give people like me advice on. That, okay, so now if I'm mentoring some people, can I be able to tell this person that bet on gold today or don't bet on gold? Is it financial advice or is it not? So it's very tricky waters to be in, eh?
So what will be the impact in South Africa? Do you think it will make its way, or you just have to observe and see what the US is going to do with us?
That's a good question. So basically, since the South African market is like 418 billion rands per year that is generated through betting, I think they'll look into it, because why not? Because it'll make casinos more money and it'll create more liquidity in the market. So I feel like it's a win-win for both sides.
We'll definitely be looking at that space to see what happens. That's Phumelele Mashiane is in our Traders Corner. And remember, don't trade your last money. You may lose all of it. There's never a shortcut when it comes to wealth creation. Join us again next week. Morning Live continues after the break.